we are going to move onwards in the agenda towards my favorite subject, entrepreneurship. If you look around you, there's somebody that created everything you see. If you walk on the street, somebody actually invented every little thing. What a great lamp. What if somebody could do that? And they managed to sell that and create that. And I get really frustrated when thinking about these things because I've created so few things. And somebody else has created all these other things. Who are these people? But it's not always successful to become an entrepreneur. And I interviewed Anna Bråkenhielm, who was the CEO of Strix, and she's created a lot of Robinson. She's taken that to the world, among other things, in the TV industry. And she said, what's your best advice for an entrepreneur? And she said, think very, very closely if you're going to be an entrepreneur. A lot of people shouldn't be an entrepreneur, but if you are, then you need to be totally, totally passionate about it. And this is how it could look in the life of an entrepreneur. So usually they try to sort of come out of their holes because they think there's cheese somewhere. They don't think about risk all that much. They think about that cheese. And after a while when it works, they think they're smarter than everybody else. They figured out the model. And they just want more and more and more out of it. At this stage, they think they're really good entrepreneurs. And this is something almost every entrepreneur has gone through. In a previous company, ideas that never took off, terrible, terrible news for your company. But real entrepreneurs, they try to at least hang in there for a little while. Because there's always more cheese. So, so with that, I'd like to invite 3 entrepreneurs up on stage. The first one who will come up and share her new company. She's a serial entrepreneur, an old colleague of mine, and she has created Ad Profit very successfully. But now she's leaving the safety of her own company to create Vint. And what that is, we'll soon find out. Give it up for Louise Ericsson. The stage is yours.
All right, I'm sorry. I just found a seat. I didn't have one earlier, so I figured I'll just snatch one. Wrong side, obviously. Very happy to be here to present Vint. Just, I think 7 weeks ago, I was allowed to come here and actually make the launch of Vint and also announce the seed round. So we're very new. We've been on the Stockholm market openly and sort of doing PR, some very little since we've been in the US. Longer story. Just for like 7 weeks. Vint, this is for sure, as mentioned, this is my 3rd company that I'm running as a founder and CEO. And here's where the real passion begins. We want to make better workouts for everyone. And if we look at the vision, it's actually more than that. We want to make the world work out more. And we want every workout that's being done to be done with better quality than it is today. So what do? This is a very big side, but anyways, we're building a marketplace and a community where everyone that is a passionate athlete and really good at what they do, it can be running, it can be strength training, it can be CrossFit, can come into Vint and become an instructor. So we have our own qualification process. We make sure that everyone that is a Vint instructor is really good at what they do. And then you can go into what is today an app. I will not be offended, so take off your iPhones and download the Vint app, right? So you go into the Vint app, you find your instructor, no matter what level you are at, regardless of how much money you have or what you want to do as a workout. You can invite your friends. It's a community. You send it on Facebook, on text message, on email. You get your friends to tag along. So you either book a one-on-one session or like a small group private training. And then you work out, and you work out better because you have an instructor telling you what to do, what not to do, how not to get hurt, and obviously giving the fun, motivation, and enthusiasm. So here's what we've built so far. I'm sure you're all downloading it now, so I'm sure you can see it yourself. But so we're building an app where you can see this is actually the next version coming out next week, so it's not going to look like what you have in your phones right now. You can check what work is being done today or tomorrow, later this week. So we have wall climbing for beginners. You can see it's a session where you have 3 spots. 2 of them are booked, and you can see the faces on who's being booked. So either you can see if that's your friends, or you can click on them and see your mutual friends. Or you can go on lågintensivt långpass, so running. Leo is booked. It's 4 more spots being sold, and you can immediately book and pay in the app, and then you can start the conversation with your friends and your instructor in the app. So ultimately, we're just going to sort of disrupt the training market, and how you're thinking about private training, and how you're buying sessions, and what you're paying for them. So welcome to the new world of workouts.
Thank you very much. Give it up. The next entrepreneur is Christopher, who is the CEO and founder of Vendemore. So please, Christopher, come up on stage here and tell us what Vendemore is.
Thank you, Ola. Hi, everyone. I'm Christopher Engman. I'm the CEO of Vendemore. I'll tell you a bit about what we do, but before I'm going to comment Ola's movie. It's so true. I've been doing 1 bankruptcy. I've been close to doing a few others, including in this company, Vendemore. However,
there's a green button and a red button, Christopher.
Oh, there it is. Today, we have 450 clients in 14 countries. We're growing 50% per year, and it's predominantly in the B2B market. And before I describe what you do, and this is actually an example of an elevator pitch, and one of the things I recommend, build your business idea around a problem. So this is our problem. This is a typical buying organization, let's say Skanska. IBM is selling into Skanska. What typically happens is that this sales guy over here from IBM, the guy with the graph, he gets to see a handful of people. But when you sell something that influences a lot of people in an organization, you need to meet a lot of people. It's the same internally in an organization. To make a change happen, you need to influence a lot of people. So we call this the red zone. If this salesperson cannot influence them, there won't be any business. There'll be too many people blocking him or her, and they will not sell. So what we're doing in brief, and we're the world leader in this domain, we use IP numbers. When you surf from work or from your school or from home, you use an IP number. And we're putting together IP numbers with companies. So when IBM wants to target Skanska, we use more than 1 million sites to target Skanska and show them ads, films. That's the best one. That was funny, by the way. We show them articles, etc. So we try to influence Skanska on behalf of IBM. We're a lobby company, but we're media-based. And we access over 1 million sites around the world. And we have clients from Silicon Valley to Australia. That was my elevator pitch.
Thank you very much. Have a seat. Please have a seat over here. And last but definitely not least, Mai-Li from Mutewatch, winner of numerous awards and creator of the coolest watch.
Tack för en kram.
Tack så mycket.
It's amazing to be here. My dad is a Buddhist. He talks about feelings. My mom is more traditional. She loves American cars. It's amazing to be here in front of you because Dad told me I was valuable no matter what I do, and I want to tell you the same thing to you. I'm the founder and CEO of Mutewatch. Mutewatch is a pioneer within wearables. It's a union between design and technology, based by both communities. We have Steve Wozniak as a multiple customers of ours, saying that it's a unique piece which we're very proud of. We have Karl Lagerfeld purchasing 3 pieces the first day when we launched at Colette 2011. We have press raving from Engadget to Financial Times. And one of my favorite quotes is that Mutewatch grows on you, indicating the long-term value it brings to its users. We want to make wearable technology with a human approach. Our mission is to make people more mindful. And I believe that the wearable technology as it looks today is the uprising of McDonald's. We want to be slow food and think about the soul and the human being. We understand that as a small Swedish company founded by a group of students, I'm still writing my master thesis at Stockholm School of Economics, with a minimal budget, we don't have much chance to compete in the global world today. We need a bigger technical platform to take it from where we are today. But I'm confident that with the experience that we built the past 6 years and the global network that we have in the 27 countries that we've launched in top-tier retailers, we could make it. And I'm going to show you the introduction video that we did. It was launched in May 2011, 2 months before the launch. We had massive production problems, as we always had, because it's mission impossible to create. And I want to share with you what you can do based on nothing if you have time on your hands and a good vision. So this is the introduction video.
Meet the Mutewatch, a time management tool that keeps track of time so you don't have to. Here's how it works. Tap the touchscreen to activate the display. Swipe your finger to navigate between the functions clock, alarm, and timer. Set your alarm or timer simply by swiping vertically or tapping the top or bottom of each digit. When the alarm or timer goes off, your Mutewatch will vibrate. This way, it works as a silent reminder that lets you, and only you, know when it's time. The Mutewatch lets you focus on what you're doing right now by keeping track of when to sum up, move on, or get going. Choose short or long vibrations depending on what situation you're in. To erase an alarm or timer, just navigate to it and pinch the screen. So whether you're sleeping, on stage giving a presentation, or doing your workout, your Mutewatch will keep you updated on your next step.
Thank you very much. So, what you saw here today was not only a presentation of 3 companies, it was also a lecture in how you present your companies as an entrepreneur. It's the elevator pitch. You come out with confidence, you're passionate, you know your story, and you tell it well. So a round of applause extra for that, I think. I think you did.
Thank you.
The next thing I want to find out, because this is the inside the head of an entrepreneur, is why do you guys create companies? Louise, why do you create companies?
Thank you for letting me begin. I think I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think I know that myself, I'm driven by huge challenges. I think a challenge is the best thing that can ever happen, how you need to solve problems, how you need to, build something, how you need to be creative to go around these problems, how you need to be, working across both marketing and economics and whatnot. I don't know. There's just so many parts. So I think the creative part and the challenging part, and obviously I don't think I would be a great employee. So just being yourself and being able to run wherever you want to run and sort of make quick decisions, I think is very important for me as a person.
So it's the challenge, it's the fun, it's the creativity.
Yeah. And obviously I have huge ideas of what I want to be and create when I'm older, and so I have huge goals for myself, which my entrepreneurship really allows me to work against, which is easier. Yeah.
Christopher?
I do it because it's great
after
fun.
After 2 bankruptcies or 1 bankruptcy in nearby, why do you I'll start another company?
Yes, exactly. That's weird, isn't it? Yeah. No, I think I have a slight proportion of hybris. I think I'm invincible. So I remember when I bankrupted my first company, I wasn't afraid. I had no money. I bought food in like cans with peas and stuff. I wasn't afraid. But everyone around me was afraid, were afraid. I wasn't. I don't know.
And what is the driver?
I don't have a clear answer as she got. I've always been attracted to danger. No, it's the same when I ski and when I do things. I kind of like to live on the edge. So, yeah.
Mai-Li, you come into an industry which is sort of, there's a lot of watch companies out there. It's not like we don't have watches. And still you see, I'm going to create something completely new here. Why do you do that? What triggered that?
I saw that in your email you sent, and it kind of confuses me how you can be so bad in communication that you've actually managed a company 6 years without understanding that we're not doing watches.
Point taken. Touché, touché.
We are a pioneer within wearable technology. It's called Wearables. It doesn't have an equivalent name in Swedish. And we were so many years before the market. So we had to kind of slide on different markets, such as fashion, technology, and most of all, lifestyle segment, because that's where our target group is. I've never worn a watches. I had like big, chunky male watches as a fashion accessory a couple of years, but I came up with the idea because I couldn't use my cell phone.
And do you think that people are born to create companies? Is it a DNA, or is it something somebody teaches you, or is it just maybe a medical condition, or what do you think it is?
Well, I'm kind of split in this question because I know a lot of entrepreneurs, they travel around the country and they say like, go create your company, everyone can do it. And I'm not really like that. We've worked a lot. Like being a pioneer is not about evolution, it's about innovation, and it's a lot of work. And I would say you need a lot of passion and a lot of persistence. So a lot of good things have been said here today. But it's not for everyone, and you should be totally fine with it. The reason why I decided that I want to create Mutewatch is that I was a student at Stockholm School of Economics, and all the companies that could afford doing marketing there, saying the banks and the management consultancy firms, they didn't have a human, just as we want to change the technology industry, making a more human approach, I couldn't see the human approach in these companies. I've always been a round peg in a square box, and I know that. And I tried to interview them saying like, I love customers, I love human interaction, I'm 20-year-old, what opportunities can you give me? And they'd say, yeah, this letter you have to work as a junior consultancy for 2 years, and then you have this blah, blah, blah. And I was like, can't you see me? You don't see me as a human being. I know I have my squares and edges, but I'm a diamond inside, and if you can't see that, I won't work for you because you will kill my energy. And the only... And I understood that the risk of founding this company was the risk of not going with my passion and following my strength would be a bigger risk.
That's a very interesting key takeaway. The risk of not doing a lot of fantastic things in your life is the risk of having lived a not so fantastic life. So you take a chance even if you don't do things. I'd like to come back to sort of the ability to get people enthusiastic, or sales, or presentations. How important is that? Your company is called Vendemore, Sell More, yeah. And you created Ad Profit in the advertising space in the B2B segment. Mm-hmm. So starting in the B2B segment, sort of how do you sell when you create a company? How do you sort of drive people to believe in you?
Well, if you can't sell what you're doing, and you're not going to be successful. Obviously, I think there's so many. There's a huge discussion going on whether or not you should be like a product guy or a developer and X, Y, Z. And honestly, if you have a company that doesn't have a big force of sales and that sort of knowledge and wanting to do sales, I don't think you're going to be successful, because it comes down to selling the idea, selling the passion to not only your employees but partners and customers and supply side, demand side, whatever it is. So I think for sure, and I think we both agree, selling is a super key point of a business. And unfortunately, Sweden is one of the countries where sales can be considered to be something, not a proper job or not as fancy. If you want to do your own business, make sure that you're a hell of a salesperson because that's going to make you successful. I definitely think so.
Would you agree?
No, I agree totally. I mean, sales is everything. For me, it is. I mean, we try to build a McDonald's concept out of selling, both in terms of what we do marketing-wise, but also how we structure our sales team and grow it. That's why we're in the B2B business. It's really hard to grow 50% per year, but that we do it. And it's because we have a scalable sales concept. And one thing, I'm a mathematician. I've written a book about mathematics. I'm a real nerd. But I realized after a while, I'm a fantastic mathematician. I realized after a while...
Selling yourself is part of it.
Yeah. Anyway, I realized after a while that in the influence and the power lies in marketing and sales. So I quickly decided I want to be the best in marketing and sales. So I shifted focus, and then I created a few companies, and Vendemore is sort of the, for the moment at least, the crown jewel, because it's me as a person made as a company, if you want.
I see it clearly now. No, I don't. But I understand what you say. I understand what you mean. No, but I mean, but I think that's...
I'm really fascinated about big deals like this $50 million deals and those kind of deals. And we don't do them. Our clients do. And I kind of like being in that domain. And we've made a scalable business within a domain that is normally really slow. I think that's pretty fun.
But I understand what you're saying in terms of it's an extension of yourself as a company, and you're a great salesperson, so your companies are extensions of yourself.
Yeah,
but there's also the product dimension, and I'd like to hear you, because you're a product guy. What do you think about the product as opposed to the sales?
One of the good things being a student is that you have access to good mentors. And one of the mentors that I used in the beginning was Mikael Schiller, who was now the president, then the CEO of Acne. And he told me that focus on sales and product. So I would say both.
But I think it's important because we've been talking about passion, and you've been talking about passion. Everyone's been talking about passion today. Obviously, it's important. And if you have the passion for whatever you're doing, you're ultimately going to be a perfect, fantastic salesperson. Because if you have the passion, you want to talk about it. You're so dedicated. You're so focused on why this product or company or service is so fantastic. And if you're that, dead to the point that it's the most amazing thing in the world, it's going to be hard to not be a good salesperson for that.
But then that leaves us with the products. How do you develop great products? Because I've failed miserably in developing great products, and I've also seen products that have been fantastically well executed, but I don't know the difference when I start.
Yeah.
So
I have a few philosophies that I've developed after failing a few times. Well, the first one is when you create a product, don't start from an idea, start from a problem. It sounds negative, but every product or solution is solving something. And if you haven't figured out what it solves, what's the pain, what's the real problem, it won't sell. So create a real problem or find a real problem and ask a lot of questions around that. And then when you develop products, like in the I'm a bit B2B damaged, but in the B2B space, the problem can sometimes be solved in different ways. One is with consulting, so you do it with hours, man work somehow, or you do it with a product or a mix. I would say that the easiest way to start a company when you're going to sell products to two companies is to start solving the problem with hours. So start solve it with hours, then you can convert those hours into a product or a service or a process. It's really easy.
So if I get
to be honest,
if I get you right, you find a problem and then you start advising companies on solving that. That builds you the platform that you can then start selling to other people.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a company, we can take MTG, by the way. They probably have lots of processes internally that are not core business. You go in and you find something that you like in my case, it's sales and marketing. So you find something you like, and then you identify a problem that they have to solve somehow, but they solve it with people normally that puke on it because they don't like it. Then you say, okay, I can do the same for the same amount of money. I do it with my hours. Then you start doing it, and then you start to make it more and more efficient, then you start productifying it. And
Was that how Vendemore was created?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. We didn't start with an advertising idea. No.
Like, this is interesting for me because we are B2C, like consumer based, and it's more risk. Everyone has respect for consumer products, but when I hear you talking, like, it's more complicated for me to understand B2B in a way. Like, problem B2B is like taking our problem, like my problem, and the idea that we later became Mutewatch was my boyfriend at the time, he was working on regular hours, like many portfolio workers today, and he hated when I snoozed. And then we were all poor. All my friends were like amazing talents, but everyone were poor. We couldn't go on vacation. And I saw this, you know, all this, how many has been on a free lunch at Handels, like when you run to, yeah, you go there and you sit there and like, you just want to have your lunch, you don't care what they talk about. But this lunch was like, the first prize was 50 airplane tickets. And that was solving my problem at the time, like amazing Barcelona with 25 friends. And so I went home saying like, we have to find a problem, solve it, and that's a good business idea. That's what they told me. We'll go to Barcelona soon. And then we started brainstorming and said, that's actually quite annoying when you snooze. And I was like, yeah, that's right. A vibrating wristband. And we started Google on it. We realized that didn't exist. Later on, the year after, when me and Oscar, engineer student, founded the company, we brainstormed and realized that the core problem, the problem beneath the problem, was not waking up. I could pretty easily wake up. It was life decisions and time management. Because as a top student, I was having 2 jobs at the side. I was having a very social life. My biggest challenge and my problem was, how should I manage my time? How should I prioritize right? So this product, the time management tool, I think non-intrusive wearables, which is our category, it's the uprising of McDonald's. People will burn out with these wearables created today. And you heard now, 2017 will be the year when we are longing for decreasing the number of disruptions and focusing on having a human approach to life so we can make easier choices. When to start studying, when to stop studying, when to start working, when to stop working. Because now it's a mess.
What happens, and anybody please, what happens when you fail, when you doubt yourself, when you can't sleep because you're in agony, or what you dreamt of doesn't seem to be very likely? How do you speak to yourself, and how do you overcome these things that every entrepreneur, and believe you me, every entrepreneur gets through those things? Steve Jobs said he spoke about all his worries. He's sitting on top of the world and he's worrying, as is any other entrepreneur. How do you overcome that?
I've been, as I told you, I've been in a bankruptcy, and I was this close to personal bankruptcy, which is not nice. So I was...
Key takeaway, not nice with personal bankruptcy.
Nice. No. No, but I took too many company risks on myself, because when you don't have credibility or something, you have to take borgen. So I took too much borgen. and eventually I went into bankruptcy, and I sat there with the tax authorities. They said I owe them 700,000, and I had other people claiming money from me as well. I used a mental trick. I was imagining that it wasn't me. it was a friend of mine. So I was seeing it as a laboratory fun thing. I was okay. I've never done this game before, so
yeah, it is a mental sickness.
So I was moving myself out of the picture, watching myself, giving myself advice, because that way I could think more clearly. I wasn't stressed out.
Do you know that what you invented is actually a psychologic model for training and for doing other things?
Really?
You see yourself as in a movie, and you think, what should the guy in the movie do? Because it creates the necessary distance between your emotions and yourself. So it's interesting to hear. What do you do?
I haven't been close to personal bankruptcy. So
I can show you.
yeah, not discuss that.
Just invest in his next venture. And then
Yeah. No, but obviously you have your doubts and your problems and tons of stuff. I think when you're in it, it's not more than you need to solve it, right? So either you do what Christopher's doing and imagining you have a fake friend. I haven't gone that far yet, more than sort of instead of you know, taking this over and over again, just need to find a solution, right? So you have 1 or 2 weeks staying awake at night and in the agony and pain and stress. But during the days, it comes down to like A/B testing. What can I be doing to solve this problem? What do we need? What sort of actions do we need to take? You get your team, or if you don't have a team, you do whatever you can. You talk to you had a mentor, you talk to smart people, you ask for advice, you know, you sort out what would any competitor within the space do. So it comes down to one of the parts that are, when you're not in shit, the fun parts, which is problem solving, right? So I think once you're in the zone, there's not much more to do than solving it. And there's no bigger sort of and better feeling than once you've solved those huge problems. So you can see, you know, when you're actually at the top of that mountain and your summit. So it comes with something good as well.
My dad told me that every feeling is an asset. And I'm very thankful that I was never suppressed emotional-wise when I was a kid. When I was sad, my parents told me, okay, you're sad, live in that feeling. And when I was scared, when I was excited, I could be that. And I've learned later on in life that our society today learn that we should suppress feelings. If you have a feeling, whether it's excitement or if you're scared or if you're worried, embrace it. See it as an asset because it tells you something, and create it into positive action. If you have excitement or anxiety that you don't know what you're going to work with, take that into positive action and contact 100 companies that you would like to work with, or schedule time to find out 100 business ideas. Every feeling is an asset. And by embracing feelings and being mindful of where you are, you could ride out that feeling. My dad used to compare it with a curve. Imagine that you have a cold. You know that you will get worse, but then you will get better. You get better by embracing and trusting the universe that you will get better. People that get depressed, they push back. They say, I feel sad, it's something wrong. And the curve gets like this. That's when you get depressed. If you accept the feeling that you're sad and you're stressed, you can create something out of it. And as my dad said, trust the universe and the things will come to you. So wherever you are and whatever you're feeling, just live in it.
I think that there's a lot of deep wisdom here. It's trust the universe. If that doesn't work, just pretend it's some other guy, right? If that doesn't work, just go out and do a lot of things and A/B test and do a lot of things.
But we're saying the same things. It's about getting things done.
Yeah.
Last comment.
Just want to make a comment when it comes to feelings. You know already that I'm a math nerd. So
yeah, you had a bankruptcy problem too, right?
Yeah, yeah. But I think when you're young, it's easy to trust your intelligence too much, and you don't listen to your feelings, like she's talking about. So I started to become really successful when I decided to always listen to your feelings. And okay, you should use your brain, think about the logics and the chess play and everything, but always feel, how does this feel? What would I feel about this person? What do I feel about this situation? And then all of a sudden, everything fell in place.
So we have bad news and good news. The bad news is that this excellent panel is coming to an end. The good news is that these guys are going to be here and they're accessible and they're going to drink wine with you in a short period of time. So give it up for the entrepreneurs. Thank you very, very much.